Hello, my name's Peter, and this is my documentary on the Baha'i religion. Now, what is the Baha'i religion? Baha'i religion is basically a religion that is very inclusive of all kinds of religions. So think of Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, anything you think of really. Um, so basically, it's monotheist, so it believes in one God, and it might be contradictory to think like, oh, how is it super inclusive of all these other religions if it believes in one God? So in a way, it believes in all those other gods by them being messengers. So, Abraham, Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, those people are messengers for one God, and they all come at different times. Um, More about Baha'i is it's the second fastest growing religion in the world, and it's also very, very popular in America from the research done. And throughout the documentary, you will see clips of my time at a devotional in Lilburn and what I experienced over there. And you just see lots of clips of like scriptures being read and people communicating each other and just getting in depth of what it means to be Baha'i.
There was a different world at that time. They were believing in pagans, they had multiple gods, and they were imprisoned people. And Moses taught them about the oneness of God. And that was the foundation, and the Ten Commandments. The Ten Commandments didn't get rejected by Christ. He built on top of those and said, oh, and beyond that, love thy neighbor. And by the way, he didn't say love thy neighbor only if he drives a minivan and lives in the same subdivision. He didn't put any qualifications on love thy neighbor. It didn't have race, there wasn't any political affiliation, it said love thy neighbor. Right? And in the Quran, it says they're people of the book, are they people from the Torah and the gospel? And that confirm the authenticity of Christ. Translation by the Spirit really touches on the very foundations about what it means to be human. What is our soul? What is our creator? And it starts to guide that conversation into awakening and understanding part of our reality. And then there's a series of different types of activities where we're teaching virtues programs for children classes in neighborhoods or junior youth groups where they can have service projects. So there's a whole structure of activities around the globe. There's thousands and thousands of these activities taking place. And we join hands with everybody around us who wants to participate to do good for the world. You do not have to be a declared Baha'i. We had a junior youth group, our youth group actually in Town to Cabin. I remember the facilitator for my son was Sivatu, I guess it was his name. He was a Muslim young man from Savannah, and just an awesome guy who really knew how to motivate and get the youth working in a positive way, and really had a great way of going through these materials with them.
The man, primarily speaking, in the previous clips, isn't a preacher or anything. He isn't someone telling you to like, hey, you need to do that, or enforcing this. But doesn't have any preachers. Instead, he's just the host of the devotional, and he's kind of just going through just some of the scriptures and some of the beliefs of Baha'i. All he's doing is just relaying the messages. In this next section, this is where we all go into a circle and we just read scriptures over just Baha'i faith and beliefs, and we just go into reading and talk about what goes on and how we feel about them.
Belittle anyone and call him ignorant, saying, "You know not, but I know." Rather, we should look upon others with respect, and when attempting to explain and demonstrate, we should speak as if one of you going to get to the truth.
Well, both are blocked.
Cause of dispute, hatred, and strife in your hearts. Rather search diligently for truth and make all men your friends. There's some little punctuation there.
Yes, it is. Sorry. This is from Abdul Baha.
So for this last section, we kind of just made into a closing circle, and all we did was just kind of watch somebody's video going over Baha'i and the faith, and after that we just hung out, ate some food, and yeah, I mean the whole thing was very casual. No one had to dress up super formal or anything, or be like any sort of different than what they usually are. Everyone was super friendly. And we all kind of just hung out, ate food, and just talked about what we believed in. So, I am here with.
Valley Malkin.
Okay, that's great to know. How many years have you been in Baha'i?
Well, I was actually born into a family where my parents were Baha'i.
So you were kind of like brought into Baha'i, like as you're.
I was
growing up?
raised with the Baha'i faith, yes.
Oh, so you always been Baha'i.
Yeah.
So
Well, let me take that back, because one of the things that we're taught is independent investigation of truth. And Mom always said, for every Baha'i book that you read 10 books of everything else. And blind imitation and following of the prior generation is a big part of why we have problems in the world. We blindly follow traditions and blindly perpetuate prejudices. There's a whole lot of problems that come from blindly following and not investigating truth. So Mom always said, and every Baha'i has to declare for themselves if they are a Baha'i or not, if they are raised in the Baha'i faith after they reach 15 years of age. So some youth, when they take a few years longer than that. Others feel it right away. So, but it is something that, in children classes, we have all holy writings in our children classes. We always study world religions in the Baha'i children classes.
what does it mean to be Baha'i?
I think it really, that summary of saying to work for the betterment of the world is just the core. What it means to be a Baha'i is to say, I'm working to help an ever-advancing civilization. I'm here just for a blink of an eye in the history of humanity. I'm a speck of dust. On a speck of dust, right? If you look at the whole universe, our planet Earth is nothing but a speck of dust in the whole universe, and I'm a little speck of dust on that. But there's a purpose why we were created, and to help build, to help transform and help elevate and help move this society along its journey towards unity, towards oneness, towards its eventual destination. To me, to be a Baha'i is to love mankind and try to serve it, to do some good.
How do you think being Baha'i has impacted the people around you?
Well, Baha'is are not perfect. We're human beings.
Yeah.
Everybody's striving. So the minute you say you're a Baha'i does not mean that you'll become a perfect human being.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do strive to have empathy for people and to promote those qualities which are universal. So how has it impacted the people around me? Well, sometimes it might be like friends growing up in high school where basically they saw everybody would go out. It's Brazil when you're 16 years old. They're all drinking beers and I'm having a Coca-Cola. Okay, they're egging me on to try to have a beer or something like that. And I said, no, I don't need that, And and maybe it made somebody think, why would somebody deprive themselves of what we think is enjoyable? Mm-hmm. Well, because what I think is enjoyable is something different. Yeah. I think it helped me have, by reading the writings and the prayers and trying to internalize that I work on myself. I try to work on myself to become a better person. And if I'm a little bit better person, that means better practicing to love my neighbor, be of service to everybody who crosses my path, try to be helpful to people. I hope it becomes more positive than negative, passing through this plane of existence while I'm here for a few short years.
I mentioned before that being Baha'i isn't a thing that you need to focus on every single day. It's not like a thing you have to pray to every single day. It's not something that completely changes someone's life just because they become Baha'i. But how has that changed your daily life?
Well, you're always striving. right? We're always striving to better ourselves. Like somebody, you got a little bit of muscle there. You probably did some pumping or something. Somebody who wants to go to the gym and wants to build up knows that they have to strive and do work every day. Um, Actually, one of the other analogies is, an airplane stays in the air and flies and can soar as long as its engines are running. The minute those engines stop running, that airplane starts coming down. So that striving is, there's not, nobody's going to look over my shoulder and say, did you say your prayers today? Did you study the readings today, writings, or whatever it is? That's between me and God. But that daily practice of reading the writings, at least a short period, doesn't have to be volume. It's about quantity and truly meditating about what you read. It could be a single phrase. It could be a page of a book. But taking the time to meditate and do that and work on yourself daily. That cultivation of good habits, if you will, respecting the body, respecting the mind, respecting the soul. Just trying to work on all three of those every day.
So, are there any parts of the Baha'i faith you don't agree with?
Not really. Remember that we are human beings. Even the elected body are human beings. But they're also elected for only 1 year, right? At every local, national level. Typically, if I accept that Baha'u'llah is who he says he is and his claim, and accept that, and I read his teachings and it's divinely revealed, if there are teachings that I sometimes are material that I thought, why did that have to be revealed? That seems trivial. It seems ridiculous. Well, it wasn't ridiculous when you talk about equality of men and women. Well, even today it doesn't sound ridiculous in some places. It's still considered a radical idea in some parts of the world. We still have not achieved equality of men and women.
What I expected to see or experience prior to attending the service wasn't anything too special. I've been to a Baha'i devotional beforehand, and it was like, just kind of in a very cozy house. I was very comfortable, and everything was very friendly, and I pretty much expected to see the exact same thing of, all that friendliness, the kindness, and just being comfortable in the little place, in a little home almost. And that's just exactly what I got. So I really liked it there. I felt very nice, and I expected to feel like that. My experience did match my expectations. I think I had, a good bit of fun there, just kind of learning about Baha'i and being really interested in it, and also just like meeting new people and everything, learning about Baha'i and their experiences in it, and I was very happy with just the things I saw and things I learned. What stood out to me, um, would probably just be just the people there, really. I really did enjoy just seeing the different types of people, who were so devoted and happy about Baha'i. And I think that's kind of just made me really happy to see. What I did learn about, Baha'i that I didn't know beforehand was the fact that it's inclusive of, like, everything around it, It isn't just a spiritual journey to get yourself closer to God and better yourself, but it's also something that impacts others around you and how you can shed a positive light to them. And my main takeaway from this experience was, again, with the people, like, I don't really have any religious friends or anything, but so when I think of religious people, I think, it's a good bit part of their personality. I feel like that's something you could tell. But from this and seeing the people there, I was like, wow, I would have never known they're Baha'i. I would have never known they would have believed something like this. And I think that's going to be a different, like, perspective into religious people. Because they just look like any average other person. Any person you just find walking the street, they just look just like that. But to know that they are a Baha'i, or it could possibly be Baha'i, and believe in this stuff and just be just peaceful and faithful, I think it's kind of crazy to me. And there's a little bit of shock, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense.